Hello, namaskar. I'd like to clarify something, if not explain something. People grow, they mature, they evolve, the mind can change, nothing is constant. The mind of a 12-year, a 6-year-old child, after 20 years, 30 years, it changes it due to experiences, contacts with other people, other circumstances. The mind grows, the personality expands. People develop new feelings, new emotions, new sensitivities, right? And what we have is that depend on where you place, depend on whom you interact with, depend on what you feed the mind with, it becomes colored, what is a tinctured. The personality grows around those patterns, around those mind shades or colors. But one of the perplexing thing is that the contact of different personalities. For example, a person in a high school or a person from the college compared to a person with a local university, and with a local university to a foreign university, for example, the mind was trained differently, even into faculty. People from sciences and people from art, from engineer, from education. The mind has been tutored, it's been trained differently, and you do not realize you're changing or you're growing. It's like when somebody is growing, they you don't know, but after 5-6 years you notice that person height, maybe the body structure, the body mass, the complexion, etc. changes. Then you it's this person has grown a lot, he changed a lot, he been away, he got fair complexion. All these things are changing, alteration, metamorphosizing factors. So for example, sometimes I find people like who never pass through your same experiences. Sometimes you hear them, they sound very weird, very outlandish. For example, most of the guys who work around here, like as bartenders, as they do odd job works, and so something you hear the conversation, the language, it's like they're alien, speaking an entirely different dialect from an entirely different country, and for them, you're supposed to be just like them. You have to. How come you're different? All people are the same. That's their conviction. You can't change this. A carpenter or a plumber, his idea is that he's just like you. He has skill, you have skill. But when you hear his ideas, his propositions, his projects, his plans, his temperament, it's completely different. You wonder how these guys can assume that our developmental quota or quotient is the same. It's like emotional quotient. You have emotional IQ, intelligent IQ. It's very amusing sometimes. Sometimes you listen to young guys who, for example, they go to some of the big schools in town. Like when I used to remember, I was living over the river, I used to travel at the boat, and many of the QC students, they would come around me and so stand up. Now, like for example, Kuru Pokari, when we traveled, I would sit down right at the front. Many of these guys from QC, and sometimes you hear the conversation. So, gosh, these guys are from the top secondary school, and their philosophies, their mind is so much different. So sometimes you find your classmate, your friend or somebody, they're trying to start up a conversation, and some of the system, the desire emotional system, is so out of bounds, so outlandish, so strange. You wonder, I think it's the modus of training a person pass through primary, nursery, primary, secondary, university, and pass through all those stages. They have a kind of different kind of color, a different kind of training or bringing, and they would display different codes of ethics, different morality, different sense of action and behavior than the common man, But yet, they're saying if you're a good man, if you're a religious man, you have to work with them, you have to help them, you have to support them, and how much stress they will give you in doing this, in you doing this, It's not very easy to, cajole and train like a father, a brother, a teacher. You have to be, even the guru, the spiritual guru, do not take students unless they have certain qualities. The Kung Fu master do not train students if they do not have certain qualities. And so it is that some people you cannot get too familiar. Some people they have to be held at a distance. And yet others, you have to be ignored. So sometimes this social life is not very, we should say, appetizing. You have to be very careful with the kind of minds, the kind of people, because sometimes you find yourself in police problem, find yourself in violence, in trouble, showdowns and all this. This happened once. I was with an ashram with a guy who was from the street, a street kind of guy. He had long hair, and we went to the Kovan John ashram during the 90s, 80s, 90s, and he went in there, wanted to challenge one of the brahmacharis. And the guys them had a little showdown, and I was with him there also. See me as a threat also to them because I was with him. So that's why your company and the kind of people you have to be very careful. People don't understand this. They say you're a big shot, you kind of this, you're that, and so I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm totally the person from a foreign university or a better university. He will see me in the same light too. He hears my conversation, hear my mind. He will say, "Oh gosh, what a grievance! What a disaster! This guy sounds like he's from some Amazonian tribe or something." But anyway, let's not get too complex, right? It's just that good news, bad news, we're not all the same. People are different. They have been brought up differently, so they will project different mind, different intelligence. Whether your intelligence is polished, cultured, or noble, I think it will reflect who you are and what you are, So for those who are fortunate enough to be exposed sufficiently or to be trained sufficiently, they will have to be contented with the little they are until they choose to grow and expand. Namaskar. Thank you.